Mets are heading out west there, partner. And it looks like there's going to be some duels to be had. But there's also some gold in them there hills. Hello and welcome to another edition of MetsMusings. Hope everybody had a great week out there. We tried hard to get a guest, but I don't know. These people in Oakland and out in California don't want to answer. So we're going solo tonight, but we've got lots of stuff for you, so stay right there. Don't move a muscle. Lots of news to tell you about. Okay, so far 7-6 for the Metsies. They've gotten off to a very slow start. I don't know about you, but there's something lacking with this team. They just haven't gelled yet. They just don't look like there's an urgency there. It could be me, but I just don't see the urgency to win. It almost looks like they're playing not to lose instead of playing to win. And there's a huge difference. We've gone over that time and again on this show. So I'm not going to beat a dead horse there, but it just looks that way to me. And that's a little frightening, to be honest with you, because that's not the way to go through a season. It really isn't. It just makes things hard, and they have to kick it into gear. As far as performances, the performances have not been good. Now, could it be because of the World Baseball Classic? Who knows? They say it doesn't have any effect. It doesn't bother anybody. But, look at the guys that are not performing well. Alonso is either, yes, I know, he's tied for the league lead or one home run behind in home runs, a couple RBIs behind the league lead, but all he does is hit home runs or strikes out. There's no medium lately with him. And he still looks bad on breaking pitches. I just wish the announcers would admit that he's still flailing. He's still flailing at breaking pitches that slider low and outside from a right-handed pitcher gets him every time. And until he starts laying off of those pitches, they're going to keep throwing at him. Lindor's not hitting. I know. He got a couple of home runs, had a couple of big games, but it doesn't seem to be the pop there. Now, both of them played in the World Baseball Classic. So does that have anything to do with it? If they didn't get enough reps in spring training, maybe. Maybe while they were at the WBC, they didn't get enough reps. Who knows? We don't know. Jeff McNeil is not hitting up to his level and hitting his line drives. We're seeing a lot of strikeouts again and a lot of pop-ups. And what we want to see is line drives. Line drives. Hit the ball up the middle, go the other way. That's what we need to win, and that's what they have to do. Going through the lineup some more. Mark Canha. I like Canha. He's a nice guy, but he's not an everyday player. I'm sorry. It's just not there. It just isn't there. They find the weaknesses on these guys. Now, I know he started out hot, and he had a pretty good year last year, but so far he has struggled terribly. and he's had a couple of good games. Look, everybody has a couple of good games. What we're looking for is consistency, and we are not seeing that right now, and it's bothersome. To be honest with you, it's very bothersome. But you know, the homestand wasn't awful. 2-3 against the Marlins. 2-3 against the Padres, who beat the Mets last year. But the Mets are having early season struggles in scoring position. And that's the big story so far. They just can't get the key hit. The other night, they had the bases loaded, nobody out, couldn't get a run in. I think it was yesterday's day game, bases loaded, one out, couldn't get a run in. This is where you have to make contact. The other night, to go back to that, bases loaded, I think two walks and maybe a hit, and Alonso strikes out, and then I think Canha striked out, and I think a fly out then, and that was the inning. So can't have it. They got to cut those strikeouts down because Atlanta's not going to give them any breaks. Atlanta's out there winning. They're playing. They've got a 2-game lead now over the Mets and looking to expand to more. So the Mets have got to get their act together. It's time to bring up Beatty because he's red hot. Escobar is as cold as an ice cube. He hasn't done a thing. He has been awful so far. And again, another World Baseball Classic guy. Don't know if that has anything to do with it, but the evidence could be mounting. The DH position, I love Vogie, but wow, we're not getting a thing out of him again. We're not getting anything from the right side. They've got to look at that. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to put Alonso in as the right-handed DH and stick Vientos in at first base and let's see what he can do and put him in the lineup. Maybe it's time to bring up Beatty. Maybe it's time to put McNeil out in right field and have Marte as your right-handed DH. Let him play some right field, but let him DH most of the time. And put McNeil out in right and have Maurizio or Lindor switch over to second base. More on those three guys later on. Beatty, Maurizio, and Vientos later on in the farm report. But they have to stir up some offense somewhere. And excuse me, now they're on the West Coast, so we'll see what happens out there. But this is just a team that it looks dead in the water. It doesn't look like it's excited to play. I don't know what the deal is, but that's my opinion on the first week or so of the season and first 2 weeks. So glad that at the home opener that the Mets decided to honor Bob Murphy, and he retired whatever you retire for an announcer. They put his a plaque out in the outfield with the retired numbers with a microphone on it like they did for Ralph Kiner. And so Bob Murphy's out there as well now. And, of course, he is a member of the Hall of Fame, so that's already done. But nice to see them honor Bob Murphy. And, he was here a long time and a terrific announcer and really Gary Cohen's mentor to a large degree. Is Gary Cohen worked for years with Bob Murphy in a radio booth, and now Cohen, last 20 years, 18 years, has moved to television. So we've been truly blessed with the Mets to have great announces. And now let's take a new feature. What's news in the Mets universe? In a move that brings the Mets another optional reliever, the team has claimed right-hander Seth Elledge off waivers from the Atlanta Braves to make room for the pitcher on the 40-man roster, whom the Mets optioned to AAA Syracuse. Jose Quintana was transferred to the 60-day IL. Elledge, 26, last pitched in the majors in 2021. And he had a 4.63 ERA and a 1.71 whip with 11 strikeouts and 11.2 innings for the St. Louis Cardinals. In parts of two seasons for the Cardinals, 2020 and 2021, Elledge had a 4.63 ERA and a 1.67 whip in 23.1 innings over 23 appearances. So the Mets pick up another relief pitcher to fill out that battered part of the bullpen. And when I say battered, I mean they are going to be battered because they're being used an awful lot, and they could probably use another one or two arms out there. So he is one to help them along their way. And look, one of the other problems that the Mets are having is they have to decide what they want to do with Francisco Alvarez. Is he ready for the show? Right now, I would say no. No, he is not performing up to standards that you would think. He has trouble with the breaking pitch. He has, still has a way to go with his defensive abilities. But his offense is been not good as well. Now, there have been reports that people say he should be played more, that the way they're using him is bizarre, that Showalter doesn't like young players, so he's not playing him. I think what they're trying to do is to work him in. And look, their best chance to win right now, especially handling this pitching staff, is with Thomas Nido. I know he's a career 200 hitter, but he's a better catcher. He's a better catcher. Alvarez at 5 stolen bases, I believe, the other day against the Marlins. You can't let teams run on you like that. Now, a lot of times it's on the pitcher, granted. But still, once word get out that he's behind the plate and he has a hard time throwing, his throws were all over the place, teams are going to run. And when they start running, they don't stop. And that's what the Marlins did on Alvarez. He needs to be sent down, I believe, and let him play every day at Syracuse. Don't forget, he got up to Syracuse, I believe it was like the last month and a half of the season last year, and hurt his ankle, so he wasn't playing every day. He was DHing. I want to have a year down there. They did the right thing out of camp. They sent him down there. All right. They had Alvarez get hurt, and they brought him up. But this is not the place for him right now. His place is in Syracuse. Might even be in Binghamton at this point. But okay, let's say it's Syracuse. He needs to be sent to Syracuse. He needs to play every day. And let the chips fall where they may. Let's see what he can do down there before trying to bring him up here. I think this is going to hurt him by keeping him up here. Now there are reports, people write columns that the way they're using him is detrimental. Well, but how are you going to use him when they're stealing left and right? They have to pick pitchers for him to that's going to be the best for him to work with right now, and that's no way to do it. So out of the five, I mean, who you going to have him work with? Maybe Scherzer, because he's a veteran and he's better with runners on the base paths. Peterson's a lefty. Maybe you want to go that route because he's looking at the base runners. But anybody else, I mean, come on, you can't. Carrasco lets everybody run and has been off to a terrible start. So I don't know. But anyway, I feel he's not ready for the show, and he's be better off going back down to the minors and learning his craft and learning his strike zone better and learning his hitting craft as well, instead of trying to get by on pure raw talent. It only goes so far. Some guys can do it, but not everybody can. And, right now it's hurting this team. And of course, he's not the only problem that they're having. I mean, let's be honest, and what we like to do is there are other problems with this team right now. The offense just is not good, and it's a shame. But that's the way it goes sometimes, So we shall see. All right, let's take a quick break and be back with hopefully some better news right after this.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for interesting baseball talk, opinions, and history.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for barbecue recipes, tips, and interviews from the world of barbecue. If you like baseball and if you like barbecue, then tune in to Baseball and BBQ. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and BaseballTalkRadio.com.
Did you know that Baseball PhD can be heard on BaseballTalkRadio.com?
Our shows rotate with other top baseball podcasts.
Now don't forget, that's BaseballTalkRadio.com.
With us, we'll help you get a PhD in life through baseball.
With BaseballTalkRadio.com, you'll hear the rest of the excellent universe of baseball podcasts.
Hello, baseball fans. You're listening to Baseball Talk Radio, the home of great baseball talk shows. At BaseballTalkRadio.com, you're going to find great shows like this one with the great Gary Mack and the MetsMusings podcast. And now back to the show.
All right, it's time to go down on the farm, and on the farm, they are all in action tonight. But we've got so far this season, Brett Beatty, and two other Mets prospects, and those are Mark Vientos and Ronnie Mauricio. Went crazy the other night against the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders. Beatty went 3 for 5, including an RBI double and a solo shot Tuesday. It was Beatty's second start back from an injury, and after the game, the third baseman is hitting .391. That was after Tuesday's game. Mark Vientos in that game had one hit, but that hit was a solo home run, and Ronnie Mauricio was 2 for 2 with a walk and a home run as well. Mark Vientos continued his torrid streak in AAA on Wednesday, last night, As the Syracuse Mets had a 9-6 win over the Rail Riders, Van Antos went 2 for 4, including a 3-run blast and a walk. He is now hitting .351 with an OPS of 1.145. When are these guys going to be up here? Beatty should be up here now with the way Escobar is playing. Vientos too deserves to be up here to see if he could spark some offense. And you know what? I don't know what you're going to do with Maurizio because you signed Lindor to a big contract, but somebody's going to have to go to a different position. And, well, you got to trade this kid because this kid is hitting. This kid is playing. So let's look at the standings going into tonight's game as we record this on Thursday. Syracuse was 7-4. They were half a game back in their division. Binghamton was off to a slow start, 1-4, 3 games back. Brooklyn is off to a slow start, 2-3. They are 1 game back. And St. Lucie is 0-4 and 4.5 games back. And, of course, St. Lucie, the defending Florida State League champion, but a lot of those guys are playing in Brooklyn now. So they just got to get together and start gelling. And, hopefully the results will be better. But good on Syracuse getting off to a big start, or at least a better start than the other teams. All right, I guess I've ranted and raved and talked and gave my opinion long enough, and now it's up to you. Hey, don't forget that we have a new voicemail number that you can call and leave a voicemail. Brand new. It's only been a couple of weeks. We just got it back again, and that number is 516-329-9396. It's a new number, so please jot it down, 516-329-9396. So, you can use that number, call us, leave us a voicemail, ask a question, leave a comment, complain about the rant if you want to, about the Mets, about me, about anything. You can use that number to do that. So take advantage of that. 516-329-9396. And I hope that if you're watching this on YouTube that you're enjoying it first, and second, that you'll hit the like button and subscribe. It really means a lot to us. If you do that, we want to get our subscribers up there. The analytics people at Google and YouTube say that about 80% of the people that watch the channel do not subscribe. So please, if you can, please subscribe. And again, hit the like button. And if you're listening to it on the audio version, you can also hit subscribe on whatever podcast catching service that you use. We're on them all. We're on Google Play. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify, Amazon, Outcast, whatever you listen to. I'm sure you can find MetsMusings on there. So please tell your friends and neighbors and relatives to listen. Please listen to MetsMusings or watch MetsMusings on YouTube or on Spotify or Anchor.fm, which is now owned by Spotify, so it's going to take you to Spotify anyway. All right, that is going to wrap it up for this week's show. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully next week, working on a guest, trying to get somebody to talk about the San Francisco Giants, but Mets are out on the coast as we speak. 3 games with the Oakland A's, who are pretty terrible. So, let's hope the Mets can pick some damage there, create some damage, and take care of those people out there in Oakland. 3 games with the Oakland A's. Then they go to L.A. to play the Dodgers for 3 games. Always a tough series. And then next week, and they will be playing the San Francisco Giants in a 4-game set. So we'll have more on that next week on Mets Musings. But there's your look at the upcoming schedule. 3 with the Oakland A's and 3 with the Dodgers. And then we'll be back to talk about the Giants, hopefully. But Oakland's just a terrible team. Got a lot of young guys. They traded away a lot of their star players, as you know, over the last couple of years. So they're in a rebuilding mode. It's really kind of a mess with the whole stadium situation. They probably have the worst stadium in the league there. And they are in talks, though, to find out about getting a new stadium. They have threatened to move to Las Vegas. They're in talk with people there. They're in talk with the city of Oakland about a piece of property. So, hopefully this will all come together and they'll finally settle this. This has been going on for quite a few years now. And let's get it settled and get a move on, So we'll see how that goes. All right, that's going to wrap it up, I promise, for the last time. And I hope that you'll enjoy it, and I hope you'll tune in again. And remember, until the next time, keep the faith, stay optimistic, and let's go Mets. And I'll see you next time on another edition of Mets Musings.